Hi everyone, MCS1 here. Long time no talk. I feel like I owe everyone an explanation as to where I've been and what I've been up to. I know many of you have so many questions, and I totally get that. I intend to answer some of those questions today and let you all know exactly what the hell has been going on. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you. It's been a fun journey. And I'm proud to announce that it is not over. I just want to clear that up right now, get that right out in the open. This announcement is not a sign off announcement or I'm gone announcement. It's kind of a comeback. I'm coming back announcement, but I'll let you decide that a little bit more later on. I just want to let all of you know that on this journey that we've been on, I'm happy that you've been a part of it, and I have been extremely busy since my last show, and I'm excited to finally share some of the shit that I have been working on with all of you. And it's been a lot of stuff. So many of you are wondering, and many of you have also reached out to me personally and have asked what the hell happened to the show and where'd I go. How it went down was Caleb and I were sitting down together, and I told him I was going to go uptown and get some cigarettes, and then I just never came back. Okay, that's a lie. It's been a little over a year since I released my my last episode, and nearly a year and a half since I recorded one. My goal was to release 2 episodes a week and have all these crazy social media posts and marketing campaigns. In short, I got overwhelmed, like extremely overwhelmed. There was so much that I thought was expected of me, or that I just expected of myself. And I kept comparing myself to other podcasters and clients that I had and their successes. I kept aiming to be a mega podcaster on the front page of iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all these crazy platforms. And I didn't realize at the time that I was more of a nano influencer and that I had a small but extremely loyal following. I kept trying to turn the show into a business and make it a full-time job without much of another plan for monetization other than to sell shirts and occasionally plugs for my book. Although many shirts were sold, copies of my book are doing decent, I still could not fully justify the show being a business. Even though I kept thinking of having the show monetized to, make money, I was still kind of an idiot about it. People literally offered to donate money to the show to keep it going or have it grow. And being the person I am, I turned that down. I always wanted to have a direct model where I felt like someone got something else out of the show rather than just the free content I was offering. This is probably what most content creators or people have a Patreon, or why they have a Patreon. And at this point, this is where if I was like most people, I would have opened up a Patreon account and started doing donations. However, I am not like most people. I am obviously extremely different, which is, the whole reason for the show. Given the scope of what I was trying to force the show to be rather than accepting it for what it was, I just got frustrated. I was letting metrics drive my ambitions, and I felt shitty, even though the numbers I had were quite good. I was striving for quantity instead of quality, which is very much unlike me. At this time in my life, I was beginning to get very heavy into minimalism, hence the quantity over quality. The quality over quantity aspect of my life. I started to begin discarding things that didn't bring me value and didn't make me happy. And this has been an ongoing thing with me for a while and is still continuing. As I discarded things from my life that I no longer needed, it was clear that the show, in its current state, was not bringing me happiness. I decided to cut the cord completely. And honestly, I did not intend on returning. And yeah, I'm not saying I'm still kind of shocked that I'm back, and it's like, here we are though. But here we are. My current life needed some majoring restructure about a year ago. I took measures to improve my situation. As many of you know, living in Utah really fucked me up. What many of you don't know is how bad it fucked me up. It messed with me financially, emotionally, mentally, and physically, like all aspects. You could even throw spiritually in there as well. Like all four fronts of that place just fucked me up. And all around, my biggest regret in life is going to where I went to finish undergrad. I racked up tons of debt, didn't learn shit, let myself go physically, and was emotionally and mentally abused by the narcissistic assholes of Happy Valley. Hence why I dog on them so much on this podcast. This isn't meant to be a sob story. It's not meant to make you feel sorry for me or anything like that. In the end, I chose to go to that barely accredited grade F school. I chose to stress eat and not stand up for myself nearly as much as I could have, although I did stand up for myself a lot, which was insanely ridiculous. For as much as I had to stand up for myself, I still took a lot of shit from that, terrible place. But like I said, this is not a sob story. This is simply to provide some context. A year ago, I was still recovering from the scars of Happy Valley. And a year ago, that was a year after I had been back from there. I'd been out of Happy Valley, Utah for 2 years now. And as I was recovering, I knew no one was going to save me. Not one person is going to show up or was in my life to fix all of my problems. I had help from many friends, and they all helped me in their own individual ways. But in the end, it had to be me who would fight my way out of the hole I dug for myself with all the problems that I had had, which mostly accumulated from Happy Valley. And I had to take measures to recover myself. I began to work out constantly and consistently. And I kept losing the weight that I gained in Utah. I also took up intermittent fasting, which is basically where you only eat within a very small window. I eat within an 8-hour window. And this is something I'll be discussing more on another episode sometime. And I also reduced my soda intake. For some context, I was drinking like 3 sodas a day, 2-3 sodas a day, 2 or 3 Cokes specifically, while I was in Utah. And I cut my soda intake to 1 Coke a day about a year ago, and now it's about a Coke every other day. So I'm slowly burning that off right now, and it's going all right. Another story for another time. But through some of these things I was doing, this diet and exercise, I managed to burn off 35 pounds. And I've gained some of it back and still burning it. The weight's been 35 consistently. But I've gained some back as muscle mostly, which is kind of cool in a way. And I'm still hoping to burn off 35 more pounds of fat and just burn that shit off my body. I began to take some over-the-counter supplements to adjust my mood and get my anxiety under control. I have low serotonin levels, which sucks. And when I don't take my vitamins every day, everyone around me becomes extremely annoying and I feel on the edge. And it sucks. But I've managed to be able to get that under control now with simple over-the-counter meds. And I'm very lucky because some people have to take some crazy prescription stuff just to feel adjusted. So I'm doing much better. I've also begun meditating periodically to help center myself and to get myself to focus and live in the moment. I also left social media completely, minus Reddit. Still have a Reddit account, which I actually made the front page of Reddit a while ago. Another story for another time. Quick humble brag, though. I did make the front page. And leaving social media reduced my anxiety a shit ton. And I was already kind of leaving social media as I was recording some of my final episodes of the MCS1 show before I left. My debt from Utah, still a giant pain in the ass. But now it's manageable. I took up some very serious freelance work and paid down a lot of my debt. I still have a ton to go, but I am managing. I'm also pleased to announce that the contract work I'm doing is fulfilling and is super cool. It's not draining, it's not shitty. I'm paid rather well for it. The person that I am working with, or for rather, is awesome, and it's something that energizes me. And we're making some extremely cool shit together. And I will be covering some of it on future episodes. My day job, which I don't mention much on the podcast, is also going well. Not much I'm going to report on there, except it's low drama, and that's kind of all I care about. It's low drama, and that gives me the energy to focus on things outside of that job, which means my exercise, food prep, contract work, reading, and some other stuff, which I'm going to announce a little bit later in this little podcast episode. I also got super big into minimalism. I was already kind of getting into it since I left Utah, but I started really gaining traction for how much I really loved it. And I actually started a blog called Minimizing Bullshit. It can be found at minimizingbullshit.com. And I'm going to be doing some show topics as well as bringing over that site's content to my new website that's coming up. It's no longer the MCS1show.com. It's the cult of MCS1.com. And if you want, you can go check that shit out anytime. It is up and it is live. It has all the old shows, pictures, basically everything from the show is back on the internet. All still there, which is awesome. Just a new name. And that's what the podcast is going to be called going forward as well. And the cool thing about this website is I'm going to still be posting tons of cool shit on there. And the other thing that I'm really happy about is the podcast host provider no longer supports just 100 episodes that would go to iTunes, Google Play, or whatever podcast outlet you listen to. It'll go up to 300. And it will probably take me a while to hit that number. I'm going to take things kind of slow, but at a decent pace. I'm definitely not going to strive for this 2 podcasts a week type thing right about now. Or maybe ever. I don't know. I'm happy taking things a little bit slower. So yeah, the podcast is returning. And with that being said, I'm sure a lot of you have one burning question. And I'm sure that question is Caleb Hennon returning to the podcast? Is he going to continue to be my co-host, show up, and talk about stuff with me, shoot the breeze and everything? And yes, Caleb is 100% on board. We've discussed it. And he's definitely coming back. I am excited. And honestly, it's kind of hard to picture doing a podcast without Caleb. The guy is awesome, great friend of mine, and him and I have still been in contact since I aired the last episode of the MCS1 show, and we talk probably, I would say 2-3 times a week via our Discord server, I and Shane Barker just chatting. So yeah, Caleb is 100% on board. For those that are wondering, Caleb is also doing super duper well. I'll let him provide a couple updates when he comes back and we start talking about some new shit, because we got a lot to talk about. I mean, we got a lot. I still intend on doing like these little solo shows as well, like kind of like what I'm doing right now, which are basically going to be focused around my journey into minimalism, what that's done for me, and how I've been kind of able to recover from all the shit that kind of damaged me while I was in Utah, as well as some other stuff that doesn't really apply to Caleb, and I'm sure he does not want to talk about. So we'll be having a couple more solo shows as well, which may or may not be a good thing depending on your point of view. The other thing I intend to also do is a couple guest interviews here and there. I've been talking with some people who are doing some very fascinating things, and I really would like to interview them and get help their products or websites or whatever they're working on out there to my audience, so that they can see like some of the cool stuff that's really going on within my circle of people that I associate with. And I'm excited for that. That's going to be fun too. And I'm also hoping with some of these guest interviews and people that I get, I'm hoping to get some former guests that we've had on in the past that have shared their stories, and that we kind of left off at a very interesting spot. Not like a cliffhanger, but a, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen next kind of thing. I'm planning on getting those people back. And that's going to be fun. We get to hear the rest of their story since we've interviewed them. And the interesting thing is, the podcast itself, it had a run of about 7-8 years. Quite a bit. We've been going on for quite a while. And then we had that year, I had that year vacation, and then just resurrecting it and rebranding it. And so we've had quite a few people on the show, and I'm excited to bring some of them back. And some may be names that we have not heard in a long, long time. So that's kind of cool, and I'm pumped about that. So the other things that I'll be discussing in my solo shows as well will be some of my projects that are in the works. And then some shows I'll be discussing with Caleb and my solo shows is some new shirt designs that I intend to launch. Plus my contract work projects that I've been working on this, past couple years, even while I was doing the podcast as well. I can't wait to tell you about all those. Those are going to be cool. So, lastly, not lastly. I got more stuff. So lately, I guess the biggest bombshell projects that I've been working on. Currently, I am writing 3 books at the same time. And I'm not going to lie, it's a giant pain in the ass. They're all autobiographies, all about different aspects of my life. I've kept these a bit under wraps, but I'm ready to divulge details about one book, which I may have mentioned before, and it is called Working with Idiots. This will be stories like work horror stories from all the crazy shit I've been through on the workforce, from shitty marketing firms to crashing tech companies and Chapter 11 bankruptcy type shit. This book will have some amazing stories that will make you grateful for your job, and I cannot wait to share it with you. It's still a work in progress, and because I'm writing 3 books at once, there's a lot of overlap between all of them. And so it's kind of hard because it feels like I'm writing 3 books at once, but I am trying to focus on the Working with Idiots book. The other 2 books will be revealed in time. I will say that they are both extremely connected to the past 2 years of my life since leaving Utah. And this is where I've had some insane life changes and realizations. I started to refer to this period of my life, like my post-Utah life, as the awakening. And these 2 books will be very closely connected to that. And that's going to be really cool. And like I said, I cannot wait to share this with you. I'm not even more excited about the book right now. I'm just excited about the announcement at this point. These other two books are going to take a while before I can release, as well as the Working with Idiots book. But I'm just excited to even talk about these other 2. And hopefully, I'll be able to at least start to get talking about them soon. I don't want to build up so much demand and not deliver a product and then have people wait for it forever. It's not Duke Nukem Forever. I want this to come out eventually, and when it comes out, I don't want it to suck. So lastly, I want to thank you for listening to me and putting up with all my bullshit. I'm not perfect, and to be honest, I kind of think that's why people listen to me. I try to do what I feel is right and not screw people over. But I also kind of like to have a little bit of vengeance, which is why we're going after a lot of Happy Valley, Utah type of social constructs and issues there, and that's why Caleb and I will be talking about that. And the goal is still to create quality entertainment that people will enjoy, and also be able to, fund the show, through sales and things like that. And if people don't enjoy the show, then they can listen to something else. I'm kind of at the point now where it's like, I'm kind of done pitching the show to people. And if it's there, and if they hear it and they're like, it doesn't sound like something I would listen to, it's like, cool, then don't. I'm at that point. The people that listen to it love it. And that's why I'm grateful for my fans, and I'm grateful for all of you, because you all kick ass. And you've been great. I know that when the show went off the air, a lot of people reached out to me wanting it back, asking if they could help, what could be done, and stuff like that. And I was just kind of like, right now I just need my space. I'm probably not coming back. Or I said, maybe I'll bring it back. I had different answers for different people. I didn't intend on coming back until recently. I always kind of had it in the back of my mind, like, man, what if I was still doing the show? What if I was still talking about this? And I would be thinking of things during the day, and I'd be like, man, that would be a great show topic. Now, I can think of that shit and then talk about it. And I'm extremely happy to do so. And I know my show isn't for everyone, and that's what makes it so unique. And the MCS1 show may be gone, but from its grave, the cult of MCS1 is born. And I am so happy to have all of you with me once again on this journey. And I can't wait to share some of the stuff that I got in store for you. And I'll have new episodes airing soon. And we'll go from there. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.